Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Naturally, this rally is not about the UFCW, it's about the workers of Fresh Direct and the people who are across the street looking this way. The company has put on a campaign of fear and terror to keep its workers from becoming union employees. They have employees running around with vote no buttons. The truth of the matter is you have to ask yourself on December 22nd and December 23rd when you vote, you're not going to be voting for the employer, you're going to be voting for yourself and for your family, for improvements in your wages and your benefits, and a right to have fair representation on the job. The employer will continue to use this campaign against its employees to keep them down and to keep making a profit every year. We have a lot of employees on December 9th, Sunday. The employer has used the Department of Homeland Security and Immigration Customs Enforcement, as an anti-union tactic of fear to keep workers from exercising their right to have representation. So this is a very important issue. It's about the workers today. It's about telling Fresh Direct that workers have rights, immigrants are human beings, and the workers of Fresh Direct deserve something better. This is a huge company, made a $240 million profit last year, yet instead of sitting down with its workers trying to negotiate a fair deal, it rather spend its money on a campaign of fear and terror. Thank you.
The United Food and Commercial Workers has a long history, over 100 years, of fighting for immigrants and immigrant workers' rights. And we're not going to stop anytime soon. This is our fight. Their fight is our fight. What's happening here today can happen in any other site tomorrow. And we got to make sure we stop that. And along to help us stop that is a couple of our elected officials here today who take this situation very personal, because they represent a community of immigrants. They represent people of color, people who are being affected by this action here today directly. So without further ado, who I want to introduce first is our Councilman, Jaime Montserrat.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. How are we doing today? Well, we better liven this up. This is supposed to be a rally. Who's this guy? This gentleman here. Let's put the signs. I want to take my message first to the workers across the street. My name is Councilman Montserrat, and I'm here to support the working people here who work for Fresh Direct. Estoy aquí para apoyar los trabajadores de Fresh Direct directamente del Consejo Municipal. I want to be very clear where I stand here today. I stand on this side of the picket line with the workers. Workers who day in and day out work hard to make ends meet. We understand that workers who are represented by labor, by a union, earn higher wages, get better benefits, and have pensions for their families. And that is the sole reason why management does not want its workers represented by labor. So I stand here with my colleague in government to say to Fresh Direct that your actions are unacceptable. And we will remember, and I will take this message back to all the other elected officials that I can reach out to, about the fact that Mr. David McInerney writes a letter in essence threatening workers to choose a side. Well, Mr. David, don't be the Christmas Grinch, because you ain't gonna remember who you are. We don't want Fresh Direct to be the Christmas Grinch. We want them to be the Santa Claus for their workers, and to allow their workers to unionize and to be represented and treated fairly. Finally, I want to deal with an issue of great importance to me, and that is the understanding that I know in politics there are never any coincidences. And how coincidental is it that at the same time that workers are trying to organize, suddenly there's an INS audit? If you believe that that was a coincidence, I have the deed to the Brooklyn Bridge in my hand. Mr. Fresh Direct, again, we will remember, we will be back here. I will walk this picket line with you. The workers will prevail. I encourage the workers to stay strong. You are not alone, and at the end you will be victorious. Thank you very much. Happy holidays.
Now, another councilman from the borough of Queens who's deep-rooted with immigrant rights here is our brother and councilman, John Liu.
Thank you very much. It's great to be out here on this beautiful day in Long Island City. Oh, we're talking about immigrant rights here. You know what? We're talking about human rights. We're talking about worker rights. Rights that everybody should be accorded equally. And when we have a company like Fresh Direct that's been growing in its presence all throughout the New York region, based right here in Queens, that's usually something we want to be proud of. We want to be proud of successful companies that base themselves right here in Queens, the most diverse county in perhaps the world, not let alone the United States of America. And this company has become so successful. Because of whom? Because of the men and women who come in every day and work very hard.
They're bots.
And yet, as the success of the company has gone up, there are still issues that the working men and women of this company have to deal with. We need the ability to organize so that we have fair and decent wages and benefits, that there are good working conditions. And it is a fundamental American right of the workers to organize, and organize without intimidation from management. At the end of the day, the workers will choose. They'll choose whether or not to join the union. But they should not be choosing with this kind of undue external pressure. Pressure that obviously the management had something to do with. This is America. We respect workers. We respect workers no matter where in the world they come from. And that's something that we will not let the management of Fresh Direct, no matter how many letters that they write, forget. And to say, and to have called the feds on your own workers, the very same people who made your company successful as it is today. What a low blow. How low can you get? We're not going to let that go. This is just the beginning. We're going to stand with our brothers and sisters at UFCW, the men and women here at Fresh Direct. And it's great to see our retail, wholesale, and department store brothers and sisters out here. Let's give them a hand. Because at the end of the day, we will prevail. We, the workers, are what makes America strong and what makes companies like Fresh Direct successful. Let's not let the people who are getting all the profits at the end of the day forget that. We must have decent wages, benefits, working conditions, and no intimidations whatsoever from management. That's what it's about here today. That the intimidation that has tried to steer workers has tried to take the free will and decision-making process from the workers. That is absolutely un-American, and we will not accept it. Thank you very much for being out here. We'll be out here for as long as it takes.
Trabajadores de Fresh Direct, específicamente los trabajadores que han sido desplazados por este movimiento anti-unión. Esta demostración de unidad es para ustedes. Nosotros, como la comunidad latino y como inmigrantes que somos, tenemos la responsabilidad de mandarle un mensaje a esta compañía, de que esta compañía no nos va a correr a nosotros como trabajadores, que nosotros no vamos a tener miedo. Nosotros el día 22 y 23 de diciembre vamos a votar sí por la unión, vamos a votar sí por dignidad, vamos a votar sí por justicia, vamos a votar sí porque somos personas, hijos de Dios primero que nada. ¿Ok? Gracias.
Now, we also have somebody here representing Congresswoman